So she says, "We make the impossible possible." And I tell her, "You're right. I didn't think it was possible for you to sound that dumb." Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xerath Prevails. Today we've got another video in this, what's become a series of Farm This Next. Just trying to stay current and relevant on top of all the different things, because the different farms shift and things change and priorities shift, and there's just a lot to keep on top of. And I've been putting one of these out pretty much every month for a while now, because every month a lot of things change. So before we do anything, I want to shout out my patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for all of the support. I truly appreciate every single one of you. Thank you guys so much for your support. It truly means the world to me. And folks, if you want to support this channel for free, all you gotta do is hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, comment, mount the algorithm, guys. We're gonna get to 20,000 by the end of the year. Let's have faith. I hate faith, so maybe we won't. Let's instead talk about the new stuff. Why am I putting another of these videos out? There's a lot of new stuff. IG-12 is here. That's probably the smallest piece of the puzzle, to be honest. It's part of the Mandalorian Catan requirements, which they did release information on. We'll talk about that in a little bit. The Endor raid is here, and it's happening, and we need to know which characters to farm and what to work on. And then Galactic Legends have their own event. We were wondering about that last time I was making this video, and we're still wondering about it, what to do about it. It's an interesting situation, folks. So of course the goal here is to just get as much stuff as we can. Like, our goal, what should we be farming? It's not to have fun, it's not to destroy our enemies, it's just to get a bunch of stuff, just a bunch of crap. It's the materialistic Western world thing, okay guys? And that's what we're going for. But I mean, in a game like this, it's resource management. How many resources can you accumulate and, you know, be able to manage and deal with? It's good. And then also staying relevant. Here's the thing. You're not going to earn a lot of stuff if you're not relevant. It's going to start, you're going to have a lot of cool stuff, and then suddenly it'll feel like things have kind of passed you by, and you can no longer counter the things you wanted to counter. You can no longer get to the top of arena. And so our goal here, guys, my goal is to try to keep you as knowledgeable about how to stay relevant as possible. And then obviously we want to be efficient whenever we can, though that can't really be our number one primary absolute goal. So what gets the most stuff? We've talked about this a lot, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on all of this, but the idea is, Fleet Arena is really important because you get crystals there. And then you need to stay on top of the raid, because the raid is the only place that you can get Mark III currency, and that is extremely important. Rise of the Empire territory battle is also pretty important and that we'll talk about. There's actually some insights I have on that. And then, Conquest, I mean, that stays pretty common. I should probably just put the Conquest down with the static game modes, because the amount of stuff we get from that one is typically about the same as GC and Territory Wars. It's very stable. The rest of them kind of fluctuate depending on how much effort you put in, but it's very stable with Conquest, GC, and Territory Wars. So PvE is very reliable. I mean, just the things I just covered, folks. You guys can read it. I've talked about this these other weeks as well. I think just keep in mind, PvE is the thing that you're going to be getting the most stuff from for the most part. GAC, sometimes you'll lose all week and you won't earn any crystals from it, and it'll suck and you'll hate life, and that's just how things go. However, Rise of the Empire, you're probably going to get approximately the same number of stars and get the same amount of gear. Even if you slip and lose a couple stars, not that big a deal. It's all about the same amount of stuff. So talking about Fleet Arena, there's I've changed this a little bit from last time. The idea is that the Leviathan mirror match is still fairly miserable. It's a race to see who's going to have the fastest Sith Assassin. If you have Relic 9 and they have Relic 9, then it's a coin flip who goes first, and you can still outplay the AI a little bit so that you can sometimes game it and win, but it's kind of miserable and it's not consistent necessarily. So Relic 9, people have asked, why is Relic 9 the good thing with Sith Assassin? Sith Assassin is able to feed turn meter to its capital ship, and it does that fairly easily. And if it goes first, it's going to give your capital ship an advantage that is not easily relinquished compared to the other capital ship. So you just want Sith Assassin to be faster so that your ship goes faster and that you get your ult faster, take over their capital ship. Is just kind of a mess. However, after all of this stuff has transpired, so the Chimera counter is still a decent one against Leviathan. You can climb with it pretty decently. You can also, the Executor with Slave 1 starting is apparently a high percentage win. I need to practice with that. I make an updated video when I can. Profundity is also, apparently if you start Biggs or something like that, I need to look into that, but apparently that's also very consistent. And then Negotiator with Marauder is gonna win a little bit here and there. I don't know if that's going to be super consistent. I've seen people be able to do it sometimes. Yeah, you have a chance, you have a puncher's chance, but just keep in mind, guys, the best thing you're gonna do for yourself is get Leviathan. I know not everyone can get Leviathan. Getting Malgus, getting the Fury Interceptor is a challenge, and I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that it's even possible, frankly, especially if you don't want to spend money, but I will say if that should be a goal that you should be looking at, because Fleet Arena, you get 400 crystals a day. That is amazing. That is the most income you're going to have from anything consistently. Conquest, use Galactic Legends to win. There's just nothing, no big changes for Conquest yet, guys. So I'm keeping this as a placeholder just in case for these videos. Now, it's so funny, guys. Why is Piet on a speeder? So funny looking. You can also see the different Ewok butt cracks. It's very awkward. But you know, what matters more between Rise of the Empire and the Raid? And they're both pretty important. The thing is, Rise of the Empire is going to remain stable, and it's going to be something that, as long as you don't change your guild situation dramatically, you're gonna get the same rewards. The raid you have to just jump from being like cutting edge. You're able to get all your attacks in very, you know, easily and everything too. I don't know what teams to use, and that's just what happened this last month. I mean, this last week, really. That's what has happened, is we've had to shift to the raid, and so staying relevant with the raid, even I have some frustrations. I'm actually going to make a video about it, because this raid, there's some issues here. I know a lot of people say it sucks and all this stuff, and I don't. Yeah, it sucks, but there's bigger issues with it. We'll talk about it later, though. So the raid itself, the new Endor raid is here. What nuggets of insight do I have to offer? What's the biggest bang for your buck? So first off, C-3PO can be used in every fight if you want to, because he can escape. He gets to escape, and as long as he doesn't die, then as long as everyone else dies and he's the last one, he escapes the way Watt does or Mon Mothma, but then he can be used again for another fight. You can use him in all 8 fights for this raid, which is really interesting because he's already a requirement for Leia at Relic 7. I mean, if you just get him up to Relic 8 or 9 or whatever, even just leave him at 7, you're going to be able to have a very stable, even newer players who can just, if you can unlock C-3PO early on, he's going to lead you to success, because he's just going to be that presence that, you know, boosts your whole team, and he boosts your whole every team. It's pretty amazing, to be honest, guys. Very interesting stuff. I don't know if they're going to nerf that or not, but right now it seems like it's working as intended. C-3PO is going to be pervasive and a very big factor in this speeder raid, whatever you want to call it, the Endor raid. Apparently I'm misspelling Drogan here. Drogon. They're very effective, however, folks. And so Leia, you can get 2.7 million pretty easily if you know how to do it. I even put out a video for it. I think, is it right here? Is it this? Yeah, so we have the full auto guide, and we have the Leia Organa speeder raid. Endor raid, whatever you call it. Like you can find those, search those if you want to, folks. Those are videos that I've made for that, and I'll probably be making more stuff. People are getting motion sickness. There are issues with this raid, and like I said, I'm going to probably put out a video about my frustrations with it. However, Leia and Drogon seem to be pretty good. Han and Chewie also seem to be very relevant so far. And then, so right now we're looking at the Scout Omicron. I'm going to be putting out an Omicron ranking video here probably this week, like Thanksgiving week. I don't really know if that's the best, most strategic time to be putting it out. I might delay it till the week after, but one way or another, the Scout Omicron, keep your ears tuned, your senses I don't know, something tuned. I don't want to say that word, apparently. We're just stuck on it. So the thing that you want to be looking at, though, is Scout Omicron might not be worthwhile just because it's 1 in 8. Yes, if the Scout Omicron makes it really easy to get 2.7 million or whatever, that comes with an implied cost, right? Like, so with Boosh, you wanted Relic 8 on Boosh anyways, right? Because Jabba team, you wanted Relic 8. That was important for a lot of reasons that we've talked about in the past. However, the Scout Omicron, that's going to be the same thing. It's required at 7, Relic 7 for Leia, but if you put the Omicron on the Scout, you probably want to get her to Relic 8, and it's a lot of effort for one character that's going to impact 1 fight out of 8. 1 out of 8, not 1 out of 5 like Boosh was, 1 out of 8. That just seems like there's diminishing return. However, I don't know if it's... we'll look at it more. I think I'm way more up in the air about this one than I was about the Boosh one. Boosh one, great value. Scout one, we'll see. We will see. I'm looking at footage soon, so check out those videos if you want. That they're not. I'm telling you right now, guys. They're probably not optimized or the best teams, but at least they'll hopefully help you understand a few of the mechanics and get you some good scores early on until we can find better guides and better team comps. Now, Rise of the Empire. This one is probably the most interesting thing in the game right now to me in some ways, because Zepho is finally unlocked. Jedi Calivent came and went. We unlocked him. Not everyone did, but a lot of people did. And so this is just from my alternate guild, my alt guild, which, where it's actually a fairly big guild at this point. We're like top 30, maybe even we're like kind of close to top 20 in terms of GP now, which is crazy. But here's the thing about it, guys. So with Jedi Cal here, the Cairo bottleneck is going to slowly be shrunk into non-existence. Just check this out. I know it doesn't feel really amazing or great or whatever, but look at this. So the first screenshot, going from left to right, the first one is the Baraka unlock mission for Zepho. We earned 2,000 GT2, and then the actual mission, the special mission in Zepho, we earned 1,400 of GT2. And then just as far as rewards for getting all the different nodes on the Zepho planet, on the planet itself, then we got GT3 and a bunch of Cairo. And what it adds up into, guys, is approximately 100 total Cairo tech pieces. And that is going to happen twice a month, so that's 200 Cairo tech. And the thing is, we can get a lot more than that. 1,400 and 2,000, those aren't the thresholds. You can get significantly more GT2 for that. And 200 Cairo tech every month, maybe that doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it's gonna add up. And then in Rise of the Empire itself, there are a lot of other nodes that you get GT2 from that you have the same amount of potential to be able to earn it, and that's going to slowly destroy the Cairo tech bottleneck, at least for mid-game and late-game players, as people continue to advance their rosters to the point that they can actually earn those things for their guild. You need to be in a guild that's actually going to be participating in it, however. So, you also get another star for additional rewards. You get more GET3, etc. So that's good. More crystals. And then, honestly, Rise of the Empire is, in my opinion, and I don't even think it's an opinion, I think that this is the place that you can grow the most in terms of how much loot you're getting. I guess you could say the same with the raid, but the raid is going to be limited by signal data after a while. You're going to get all this GT or raid currency 3, but it's going to be limited to how much signal data can you actually apply, because eventually you're just going to have too much stuff to be able to apply and not have enough signal data. So as opposed to the Chirotech, it's just you're going to be able to expand that pretty far, and you can also get gear 12 pieces, etc. Rise of the Empire, guys, it's something we are kind of sleeping on right now. I think that guilds who are kind of start wising up to this are going to really start benefiting quite a bit. Now, there's a new Galactic Legends event that happens at the end of Conquest every month, and you're able to get 4 new Omicron. And so if you have all of the Galactic Legends, then you're able to get 4 new Omicron materials every month. And that is you're also able to, if you don't want Omicrons, you can get other gear. I mean, Omicron mats are by far the best value, but then there's also a way to farm the Conquest characters. You can see my face is kind of covering it, folks, but here, I'll turn off my face for a second. How many people do you know who can just turn off their face at will? So Malgus and Trench are just a couple of the examples that you can share, but you can get these characters. And I think the most interesting part about this store, folks, is yes, it's a new event, but this is something new it's not replacing something. It's not, this is just straight up, we get 4 more Omicrons every month if we have all the Galactic Legends. It's kind of the rich getting richer, etc. But you can get the legend tokens and turn them into things that, we're just getting more stuff. This is a new way of advancing our roster that just wasn't around before, and it's not like it's, oh, okay, well, we used to be getting this one thing, but now that thing's not around anymore, and instead we're replacing it with these legend tokens. No, this is a totally new event that is not replacing anything and is just giving us more stuff. And I think that's a very positive thing, that overall, we're getting new stuff, more stuff. Yes, it's more effort every month, but you can hit auto for the majority of those, as long as your Galactic Legends don't absolutely suck, which if you have a Galactic Legend, you should not be making them suck anyways. Now, I do have this video, the Legends tokens spending guide, just a thing that shows, buy Omicrons, or if you don't have the Galactic Legend, or if you don't have the Conquest characters, then farm those. You guys can find, I'll try to link that in the video description, as well as those raid videos that I had mentioned before. So they just kind of rank the Conquest characters and how important they are, just talking about it. So, alright, we got new releases, folks, and really the only new release is IG-12. They did announce a few things. So the requirements for Bo-Katan, instead of being this expansive, crazy list of characters that the other events like it have kind of required, instead we have 4. We have Beskar Mando, Paz Vizsla, IG-12, and Kelleran Beck, who's a character from the Mandalorian series. It just kind of makes a quick cameo as a flashback character. I don't want to spoil it for you if you haven't seen it. I mean, it's been out long enough. I don't feel bad talking about it a little bit, but and we will talk about it a little bit, but it's going to be, pretty standard for CG. They're going to release 3 new marquees, and then we get a rush to get those marquees, and in order to unlock this, Mandalorian Katan character. And so the question is who's going to be on the team. I think it's fairly obvious, guys, that Paz Vizsla and IG-12 are going to be on the Mandalorian team. I mean, IG-12 has the Mando tag, etc. The question is it going to be Bando, like pick two of Bando, Armor, OG Katan, or Sabine? My guess is it's just going to be Bando, and then the fifth will be a flexible unit, like, okay, maybe Armor, maybe OG Katan, who knows, but my guess is it's not going to be Sabine, frankly. Sabine has a really nice place in Phoenix right now. Sabine is kind of in demand right now, folks. We'll talk about that in a minute as well, but okay, so the thing to keep in mind, and I pointed it out last video of this in this series, but CG says that we're going to be able to challenge or compete with Galactic Legends in Grand Arenas with Bo's Omicrons. So going to be a relevant character, just like Aphra. Aphra is very relevant in terms of GAC, not relevant in terms of requirements or impacting the rest of the game, but in GAC, going to be really strong, same as Starkiller does and has for a while. So just a couple slides of important teams. Inquisition, still very important. I would be working on them passively as much as you can. They have an assault battle. They have a lot of PvP dominance. There, tons of stuff, guys. Special missions in Rise of the Empire. They're easy mode in Conquest. Very strong thing. I realized that all of the events surrounding Inquisition, including the Riva unlock, is frustration for a lot of people, but something to just keep in mind. Now, Phoenix is another team that, I think people should be passively working on them, frankly. I mean, they're pilots for ships that are, in and out of relevance. But then also, one thing to keep in mind, guys, is Sabine is also a Mandalorian. She is just going to be really strong. Captain Rex is a requirement for Leia at this, right now, but he's also really strong in Rise of the Empire in a couple different places. He is, he's good on Zepho. He's good on the Kashyyyk mission with Saw Gerrera. He does a lot of cool stuff. So very, very worthwhile to probably be working on Captain Rex. And if you don't work on Rex, then you shouldn't be working on Phoenix. Phoenix sucks without Rex, for better or worse. Now, okay, so Misfit Farms, nothing really added to this list. However, keep in mind, folks, with Aphra, I did recently put out a video saying it's time to swerve for Aphra, and it was kind of meant as well, if it makes sense for your roster, do it. I mean, there's a lot of different farms that you should be working on, probably, but the thing to keep in mind, guys, is Aphra does have a really cool Datacron that's coming out pretty soon, and it's a really enjoyable Datacron. Very, very fun, even if you don't like Datacrons. I'm guessing you're going to like the mechanics of this one, and so if it's not too much effort, I would work on that. I mean, the set isn't widely available yet. Some people can farm it, and I'm not gonna break myself trying to get my hands on it, to be honest, early on, but this is something to be planning for, and try to get Aphra kind of, I don't know. If you're close to getting Aphra, just pull the trigger, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now, the speculation section. So, Kelleran Beck has been announced, and he's going to be a Galactic Republic Jedi. That's fairly obvious, I think. I mean, the scene that he's in, he's very Galactic Republic Jedi-ish. And the question I have is, where is he going to fit in the game? Probably don't need him next to like Jedi Cal or anything, unless he meets up with Jedi Cal at some point. I could see him being part of some weird renegade Jedi or leftover Jedi kind of Jedi remnants team someday. But for the current thing, my guess is that he's going to make that Qui-Gon Jinn team a little stronger, because right now all we really have is that's set in stone is Qui-Gon, Anakin, and Ki-Adi-Mundi, which is fine. You can put other Galactic Republic Jedi in there, but I think he's gonna make that team stronger somehow. It would be nice to have another Jedi that's kind of set in stone with the Qui-Gon team, kind of boosts that team, gives it a nice little lift. You can maybe get a GAC Omicron on him so that we just have to pay out the nose for a ridiculous amount of things. But the other question is, maybe he'll just be a turd polisher for our remaining bad Jedi. We have Elf Jedi that could use a boost, Eth Koth, And I kind of put Eth Koth in the thumbnail, guys, as a joke, because I actually just recently used Eth Koth on my main account in a really vital role. I managed to use, and I'm not being sarcastic, I put him with a Gidme squad, so that, because he's a Galactic Republic support, and he was able to kill, I forget, like just a Tusken or something. It wasn't like crazy, but I needed him because I needed more Galactic Republic support to go with that team. And you know, I don't know why I clicked on Ayla here for this team. There are worse Jedis than Ayla, but the fact is, Kit Fista's not great, Eth Koth's not great, Imagundi obviously not great, Elf Jedi not great, Luminara, the list goes on, and it's the biggest pocket of worthless characters in the game right now, and Kelleran Beck might be the turd polisher to make them all relevant. I guess we'll see. So final recap, guys. Leviathan obviously is going to be very important, or some way to beat the Leviathan. Jabba and Leia are probably the best Galactic Legend options. Right now, Jabba still has more appeal to me to farm first, though Leia's kind of winning me over slowly. I mean, she's obviously more relevant with the raid and everything. My guess is that they're going to be releasing more stuff. I just like that Jabba requires the Smuggler's Run. Well, I'm going to be putting out a video on Galactic Legend farming order here pretty soon as well. Lots and lots of big videos kind of slated for probably for the off week at least. So otherwise, C-3PO, for new raid characters, he's probably the best one to be looking at right now, honestly. C-3PO, if you don't have him at Relic 7 or 8, probably worthwhile to take a look at him. Jedi Cal requirements, guys. Jedi Cal continues to be very, very relevant. I would work on him as soon as I could, if I were you. Do your Conquest. It's important, guys. Obviously. So Galactic Legends are... kills me, man. I love my off-meta stuff. I love ignoring Galactic Legends, but they are really good. They just are. Inquisition are still amazing. Man, Catan requirements are good. So just the quick hitters, guys, the more specific things. So, like I said, 3PO is very, very strong right now. Sabine, she's a hot commodity because Lightside Mandos and Phoenix, and I mean, she's also a rebel. There's a lot of good tags that go with her, and she does. I mean, she's very relevant right now, right this moment. Whether or not she'll be really relevant in a year or not is another question, but her stock keeps rising. She's kind of like Snips in a way, like she just has the right tags, and she's just gonna keep finding a team that she's really good at. The Marauder, the ship is crazy strong, guys. I almost lost my GAC recently. Well, I don't even know if I lost it or not, but what I do know is that the one that I just recently finished my attacks on, I had to use like 6 fleets to kill, 5 or 6 fleets to kill. Just a negotiator with Marauder, that ship is crazy strong. I could not believe how impressive it was. Very, very impressive ship. Farm it when you can, when it's available. Work on your Bad Batch, really strong stuff. You should be working on Galactic Legend planning, like I keep saying, and then Captain Rex is another one that you people should be working on. So that's it for me, folks. Another 28-minute video. So thank you all so much for watching. Tell me what did I miss? I would love to hear, folks. Respectfully, thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zareth prevails.